All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dig into a revolution that's not happening in the streets, but out in the fields. We're going to explore how some really cutting-edge technology is completely transforming one of our oldest industries, agriculture. It's pretty amazing stuff.
So that brings up the big question, right? How does a farm, a traditional farm full of soil and seasons, how does it become smart? I mean, what does that even mean?
Well, to really get a handle on smart farming, you've got to see it for what it truly is. This is the next great agricultural revolution. And honestly, it's one that's born out of necessity, a response to some of the huge challenges we're facing today. Okay, so at its heart, smart farming is all about applying modern tech right there in the field. Yeah, we're talking about this whole digital ecosystem where you've got sensors, AI, and robots all working together. And the biggest shift here? It's that farming is becoming just as much about managing data as it is about managing dirt.
And the whole point of all this tech, it's actually beautifully simple. And it's incredibly important. The goal is just this: grow more with less.
And that leads us to this really crucial idea. The data is kind of the new soil. Think about it. Before a farm can act smart, it first has to learn to see and feel in a totally new way. And we're going to call this the sensing layer.
So the foundation of this whole thing is basically giving the farm a nervous system. And the nerve endings of that system? They're these thousands of tiny sensors from the Internet of Things, or IoT, spread all across the land, just constantly gathering information.
And it's not just a little bit of data. The sheer variety of information they collect is just incredible. These little sensors are basically the farm's eyes and ears, and they're monitoring everything from the moisture in the soil to crop health and even the exact location and well-being of every single animal.
But hey, data from the ground level, that's only one piece of the puzzle. To really get the big picture, smart farms are taking to the air. They're using drones as their eyes in the sky.
And these drones are just so powerful. They can map out fields with insane accuracy, use these special cameras to spot crop stress way before a human eye ever could, and they can even deliver these tiny targeted treatments of water or pesticide only where they're needed. It's precision on a whole new level.
Now, all of this data collection gets even more powerful when you add in another critical tool, GPS. This tech brings pinpoint satellite-guided accuracy to basically every single thing that happens on the farm. I mean, GPS makes things possible that were straight-up science fiction not that long ago. We're talking about tractors that steer themselves perfectly to avoid overlap, planters that can place each seed with centimeter-level precision, and yeah, the ability to create these super detailed maps that show you exactly which parts of a field are the most productive. Okay, so let's recap. We've got this flood of data coming in from sensors, from drones, from GPS, but, data by itself, it's just noise. You need a brain to process it all. And in smart farming, that brain is artificial intelligence and data analytics.
And really, it's best summed up like this. AI is the crucial translator here. It takes that massive flood of raw, complicated data and turns it into simple, actionable insights that a farmer can actually use to make better decisions. It's a game changer.
And that, of course, leads us perfectly into our next section, automation in the field. This is what we'll call the action layer. This is where all those data-driven insights get turned into actual physical work on the farm. I mean, just take a look at the difference with something like irrigation. It is night and day. The old way, super wasteful. You just run it on a fixed timer. The smart way, though, uses soil moisture data to deliver exactly the right amount of water right when it's needed. Think of the massive amount of water that saves.
And this action layer is getting even more advanced, with the rise of what people are calling farm bots. Yep, these are agricultural robots, and they're being sent out to handle some of the really difficult, repetitive tasks with, frankly, superhuman precision.
Here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Imagine a robot moving through a field. Its AI-powered camera spots a single weed. A robotic arm swings over it and applies just one tiny microdose of herbicide. And the result? You use drastically less chemical, and the crops around it are completely untouched. It's incredible.
So what if you could take that same level of insane control and apply it to an entire growing environment? Well, that's exactly what's happening inside smart greenhouses. They're creating these perfectly optimized conditions 24/7.
Inside one of these places, pretty much everything is automated. We're talking climate control, lighting, irrigation, even the nutrient delivery. It's all managed by AI and sensors to create the absolute perfect environment. And that means you can get huge yields in a really, really small space.
So, after all of this sensing and thinking and acting, what's the ultimate result? What's the payoff? Let's talk about the future of the harvest, because that's really the whole point of all this innovation. And you can see the benefits are really tangible and they're significant. Farmers are seeing bigger crop yields, a dramatic reduction in how much water and chemicals they have to use, and of course, lower operational costs. So ultimately, it's a win for the farm, a win for the consumer, and a win for the planet.
So, the most crucial point to take away from all of this is, well, it's that smart farming is way more than just a collection of cool gadgets. It really represents a fundamental shift towards a more intelligent, more efficient, and more sustainable, data-driven future for how we're going to feed the world.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating final question to think about. As our fields literally become powerful data centers, what does the role of the farmer even look like in this brand new agricultural revolution?